I did a couple breakdowns before on Gordon Ryan and Steve Malko, and it was sort of on the lines of what I want to talk about as far as a larger person and a smaller person. I tend to have some luck in rolling with people that are larger. This is specifically for the large people, not necessarily a wrestler, but the large people who want to stay 2 knees down and not kind of give you anything until all of a sudden they spring forward with all their weight and crush you into a living death. So these are some techniques these are not exhaustive, but some ideas that will keep you out from under people and give you a little more success. So in this one, Kaysen's gonna play the role of the behemoth, which is tricky, but I don't have any 300-pound kids, so here we are. Generally, this is what will end up happening. You'll be in this position, and you can try and pull and push, and nothing will happen until they spring forward and crush you. So people will inevitably suggest that you arm drag, which is a good suggestion. It just happens that this larger person will have been arm dragged before, and I'll either go for this and they'll pull their arm out, being just so much stronger than me and larger, or as I start to go, they'll use this hand to check my shoulder and pull their arm out, or they'll even come across to this shoulder and pull their arm out, and you'll go back online and cry that your arm drags didn't work. So what I want to point out is when they're in this position and they're much larger, their center of gravity is kind of all the way back here. So most of the things that we're going to do are not really going to affect their center of gravity, and you'll end up overextending yourself and getting smashed, especially if you kind of just start with a lazy half guard and you try and work your way in, and then they put all their weight and then they key lock you or Kimura you from half guard because they're a lot bigger. So what we want to focus on is never really doing anything until we can open up this gap right here where there's no gap right now. Once she comes up off of her heels, she's a lot easier to move. When she's down, she doesn't move very much. So basically this gap is going to be our key. It's our trigger for when we get to actually do something. In the meantime, I'll keep a foot on her hip and I'll keep my hands ready trying to get these grips. It means that she can't move forward until I want her to. Usually they'll peel this, in which case I can put this here, and I kind of keep fighting this battle, and I'm willing to back up. I just want to never have that huge person's weight all over you. So here's kind of a couple ways we're going to affect them. The first one is just trying to snap them down and get up. So this is the hip heist that Gordon Ryan was using. He's used it several times. A lot of the Danaher squads use it. So if she's postured up, it's not so much that I'm trying to snap her down because she's in good posture and base. It's more that I want to get up faster. My advantage as the smaller person is I hopefully can move a little quicker. So sometimes give a little push, sometimes just sort of go like you're trying to do an arm drag or something. And then when you get the collar tied, we're going to try and get up like this and get to this position. Obviously we could go for a guillotine. I wouldn't recommend that because it gets you back to the position where you were. If I go here and then I go down and then I just got all their weight on me, maybe I finish it, maybe I don't. So what I would recommend is snap and a go behind just to get them some back exposure. Then they can choose whether you take their back or they'll roll to guard. So again, I'm going to try and get a collar tie, not so much on the neck, but forearm in the collarbone and hand on the back of the head. Snap, stand up, and then immediately work to get behind. You may get the back exposure, they may roll and to go to here, and then I want to keep standing. I don't want to immediately collapse down here and have them get grips and hold on to me, because again, they're a lot stronger. So I'm going to be up here and I'm going to work to circle and get around. So that's the first option, is that hip heist. The problem is every now and then they kind of see that coming. They'll get up with you and we're here. I can't wrestle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that knowledge to get some leg exposure. So if we go back down in slow motion, as I notice that they're also getting up, I'm going to reach for this far leg and just to get this grip. and I'm gonna come back down, they're gonna come back down, and now I've got this grip, which I didn't have before and I couldn't get before. This hand is gonna switch to a push on the neck, and this way you'll notice I create this angle on her body where I'm only working against her leg. I'm not working against all her weight. I pull this into this. Now, because again, I'm mindful that this person is larger, as she comes back, I'm going to, instead of going to just a traditional single leg X where they can still work to put their weight on you, I'm going to go underhook, single leg X, get this, and at this point, they really don't have the option of getting a lot of weight on you. You can go into leg entries, which work really well against larger people. You can come up, you can swim for the back, you can go for a lot of options, but mostly it was about creating that exposure of this grip right here and getting their weight off you at all times. So, hope you enjoyed it.